Hey, how are you guys doing? Welcome to a stream. Let me know in the comments below if you can hear me. Ruby, test. Let me know. And then we can just jump into the subject at hand, and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. And if you do hear me, please give me a thumbs up, and I would appreciate that so that the Google algorithm will do its thing. Yeah, cheers. Today I'm drinking herbal tea. Too much coffee recently, too much coffee. Also, hello, Tokyo. Yeah, everybody let me know where you're from. Hello from wherever you're from. Okay, you can hear me, cool. So we got Lamin from Argentina, Tracer from, well, let me know where you're from. Good, good, thank you. Hand Purple Blue Piece, Gilbert, Christian. I really thought you were streamed from the beach. I'll try that one time. The beach isn't far from me. It's like 10 minutes walking. So, Tennessee, everybody's good? All right, all right. So as everybody piles in, if you have questions, get them ready. I will answer whatever questions you have this evening. Hello, Stefan, here from New York City. Little chilly. Hope you are enjoying the weather in Miami. I am enjoying the weather, but I'm not. I'm a little bit north of Miami. I'm in a place called Delray Beach. But yeah. From Egypt, huh? Very good. Living in the US, very good. Go long and profit, everybody. Hope everybody is well. Cheers, cheers. So, yeah, I appreciate the thumbs up. If you're joining in the stream, it's good. Oh, we got somebody from Montreal. Very cool. We got 2 people from Montreal on the stream today. Kathy Zealous. First time seeing you live. Big fan of yours. Oh, cool. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, so what was the topic here? The topic was software developer tools and productivity. So I wanted to bring to your attention, well, let me just cover the subject really quickly, and then we'll jump into some Q&A and discussions about whatever we want to talk about. So one of the things I'm trying to bring to the fore now is the importance of looking at the tools of production as a developer. So that starts, of course, with a good code editor, integrated development environment if you want to go even further than that. But now we have this new layer of tools. Well, we had MVC frameworks. So if you're in PHP world, it'd be Laravel or Symfony. If you were in Python world, it'd be Django. If you were in Java world, that'd be not Bootstrap. What's it called? Anyway, the Java one, Spring Boot. There we go. That's why, and so on and so forth. So that was another layer, another set of tools that developers have, right? You have the frameworks, the libraries. In the old days, we used to use jQuery a lot. We still do behind the scenes. Or React, or React Native, or Vue.js. These are all tools that developers use to speed up the whole development process as opposed to building everything from scratch. If you think about it, just about all the languages are literally, they're pieces of software that we're using, right? Java is written partly in Java, partly in C. Python is written in C, and I think there's some Python in Python. PHP is a C language, is base language. So we're always using abstractions. We're always using tool sets. Anyway, fast forward to today. Once you get your fundamentals down, which I've described in a whole bunch of other videos, but the next thing you should do is look at higher level frameworks. Like, if you're doing full stack, look at a full stack framework. But what I'm getting at here is the low code and the no code platforms, something that's worthwhile, and the AI tool sets that are coming out as well. Example I gave recently, where a friend of mine has a travel tourism business, and he was developing internal software. He was getting internal software developed for his business, and it's fairly successful. And he's using a low-code developer. So it's based on Airtable, and I'm not necessarily recommending Airtable, but this particular individual is working on Airtable, and it looks like a project that if he had to get it built from scratch would be maybe $250,000 to $500,000, who knows? We'll say $250,000. The Airtable version of it, which is quite capable, he figures at the end he might spend 30 grand on it, maybe 40 grand on it. So the developer is making very good money for his time, and but he's just hyper productive using this low-code platform called Airtable. And so I've been talking about other integrated solutions, other platforms that people should be considering. So that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of this conversation, if you will. If you're going to take any away from this live stream, it's that. You got to consider these platforms as tools for you to leverage. Code, you got to learn your code still, but these are tools that it's the natural progression for developers to use higher level tools as they come out. I've done it myself, everybody does it. Back in the old days, for example, in the 90s, if you wanted to put a date picker on your web app, you had to build it from scratch, and it was a huge job. Now you just use the HTML date widget, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Within a few minutes, I've covered that out. So we're gonna I'm gonna head into the comments now, and we'll do the usual Q&A, and whatever discussions come up, we'll deal with them. So we got 50 people on. The thumbs up ratio is not very good. If you can help me with the thumbs, guys, I'd appreciate it. It's always good for the algorithm. So let me go back up. We'll do the usual greetings. We got Joe from Dallas. Hello, Joe. Todd Boothby from Texas and Maine. Just started your course yesterday. All right, Tracer, very cool. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Oh, by the way, yes, go long and profit. I do have a Discord channel. Look below, you'll find a link to the Discord channel. I invite you to join it there because a lot of times people have the conversations after my lives. They'll go to the Discord. Jam and Coder, greetings, fellow nerds. Go long and profit, everybody. If you don't know, this is the official hand salute for this this channel. I borrow this from Star Trek. The Vulcans say, live long and prosper. I say, code long and profit. So here it is. Single guns, double guns. All right. Mohammed, I have a question. How relevant is competitive coding, Codeforce, LeetCode to the skills and demand of software engineering market today? I wouldn't waste too much time on that. Once you get your basics, instead of doing competition, just actually start building things. Go get a stagiaire job, go do a job for a nonprofit. I'm not a big believer in those things. That's like, I don't know, doing LeetCode and code competitions be like playing UFC combat video games as opposed to joining an actual UFC gym. Oh boy, I'm running on battery, it's running out, hold on. I'm gonna go offline for about 10 seconds, not even, 3 seconds. Ready? Hold on. Do it. There you go. Pretty quick. So yeah, I just had these little batteries. That's the problem with this non-pro camera. All right, so let's just go on with the hello from New Jersey, Drew from Canada. The Geek Viking, Steph, does Wix Studio have the potential to be a long-term WordPress killer? I don't think so. Based on my working with Wix Studio, I don't see Wix Studio as necessarily a WordPress killer or replacement. People might use Wix Studio instead of Elementor, or maybe some of the more advanced themes in WordPress, but I don't see it as a killer. I think people who have their investment in WordPress are going to stick to WordPress. You know how it is. Companies, once they leverage a technology, they really don't want to switch it out. They don't want to switch it out for something else. That's a good question, though. Again, I would look at WordPress, Wix Studio, Webflow, Drupal. They're all tools, you know. Hello from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Very good. I saw you got a new president down there. I'm curious to see whether the GitHub Copilot. Yeah, it's another tool for sure. Hello from Glendale, California. International audience as usual. Hi, Steph. Hello, everyone from Iran. Hey, how are you, man? Very cool. Wish you guys all the best. Yeah, all right. Christian Leva Marin. I was doing Java development with servlets and JSPs. Oh, that's old school, man. And then I discovered Spring. It's a game changer. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it has all kinds of capability, facilities. What I liked about Spring when I looked at it a long time ago, I like the heavy use of dependency injection. That's a pattern that I enjoy. Steph, have you used GZAP Green Sock Animation Platform? No, I haven't. It's like Bootstrap for JavaScript positioning and animation. Ah, very cool. Very cool. That's the cool thing about JavaScript. It has such a wide-ranging, there's so many JavaScript libraries and frameworks. And some people would argue that's one of the things that makes it annoying, but it's actually a very powerful thing. No, I haven't looked at that yet. Let me know. What do you think of it? Is it working out good for you? Yeah, somebody driving by with their Harley. I'll go, Steph. Thoughts on Figma Adobe deal following through? Future of Figma. I don't know. I haven't looked at that. I'll have to look at that news and I'll give you some word on that one. My mother said I was a tool. These tools are solving problems. Exactly. See, I know how it is. When I was a new developer, I used to think it was cheating somehow to use a code editor or use an IDE or to use a framework. So I used to write, for the first 2 years, believe it or not, I wrote Java code professionally. I would use Notepad on Windows. I laugh because it was so silly of me, because when I finally broke down and decided to use an IDE, an integrated development environment, I think it was JetBrains when they came out with their thing. Anyway, my productivity went from here to pew, and I thought to myself, oh, I wasted so much time not using the code editors. So yeah, always look at tools, evolve, evolve your skill sets and your mindset to do things. Even when Java came out in 1995, a lot of C++ developers attacked Java, say, oh, that's baby stuff, it's so slow, and compared to C++, it's super slow. Blah, blah, you're not doing it right, blah, 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 and Java took over, Yeah. Do you think switching to machine learning engineering, being a software developer, is a good idea? Well, if you have you played with machine learning? I think there's a lot of future, there's a big future in that for sure. Try it out, see if you like it. Make sure you like it. That's the most important thing. If you like it, and yeah, then do a little job search, and you figure out what's going on. Hey, Steph, you're an inspiration. Thank you for the content and insight into the software engineering world. No worries. Glad I could help. Cheers. All right, how are we doing? All right, 62. Let's go with the thumbs, guys. I'd appreciate it. You know how the Google algorithm works. I'm back live again. If you don't know, a year and a half ago, and I stopped doing regular lives because I had some long COVID issues, basically health issues. And it was difficult for me to work consistently, and I just didn't do lives. But you know what? I'm feeling decent now, So I'm doing more and more lives, and I just want to contribute back to you guys as best I can. Off topic, but is anyone else having trouble with their lizard brain? These constant layouts and AI talks are still freaking me out. Oh yeah, a lot of people are, man. A lot of people are having problems with that. It's normal. Whenever a new technology comes out, the doomers and the gloomers come out. It's like, it's normal. It's normal. You get that way, especially when you're younger, because you haven't seen these patterns before. Trust me, somebody who's seen this for 30 years come January. Technology comes out, things evolve, people go, oh my God, it's the end of the world, no more jobs, and all kinds of new jobs are created, and people would jump on the bandwagon and realize that this is just an opportunity. They take that opportunity and they do very well. So don't worry about it. If you're having trouble with your lizard brain, do the meditation, do some exercise, reduce your carb intake. Carbs will depress people, a lot of people. And then, or do the Lizard Wizard course as well. It's link below. Shadow King 215 says, I'm on vacation in Fort Lauderdale, Florida right now, watching. Ah, very cool. You're right next door. How long are you on vacation here? Let me know. Okay, Shadow King says, I work with PHP at my real job for all the young nerds out there. So there you go. I appreciate the young nerd communication. They need encouragement. Yeah. Hey, hello, Leandro dos Santos from Brazil. Thanks for joining the stream, dude. What part of Brazil you're from? Gizmo. Hey, Steph. What are your thoughts on using technology such as React and Bootstrap to get web apps up fast? If they're going to solve the problem, use them for sure. 100%. 100%. The only thing to consider when you're looking at technologies to speed up, whether it be libraries and frameworks and so forth, just make sure that there's some maturity and some community behind the tool that you're using. The worst thing you can have happen to you is that you leverage some cool library that few people use, and then you find out a year or two later nobody uses it, and there's no more support, and you're stuck because you got a library that your software depends on, and it's no longer being supported. Eesh. I've learned that the hard way from personal experience. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I encourage you to use whatever tool sets, libraries that are available to you, Don't try to be a technological code purist. How are you, CTRL? You, real songs, man. How you doing? Cheers. Hello, hey, from Peru. What part of Peru? I've been to Peru. I went there 25 years ago, more than 25 years ago, on an expedition into the jungle. We flew into Iquitos, which is a jungle city in Peru. And then we chartered a military flight to the Amazon. We went to Rio Potomoyo, right on the border with Colombia and Peru. That was a good trip. Lico's real life code as magazine practice is to a real girlfriend. Yeah, pretty much. I was going to say something to that effect, but I want to keep the stream family friendly. All right, we got 74 people, not bad. Here's a testament to being consistent in what you do. So prior to shutting down the streams for almost a year or so because of my illness, I used to get 250, 200, 250, 300 people concurrent watching the streams. But I don't blame people. They say, where'd Steph go? Where'd he go? So nobody knows. So I'm coming back. Barring unforeseen events, I'll be doing these live streams on a regular basis. Emmanuel Costello. Hey, Uncle Steph, I was wondering how some freelancers can just pop out a website in less than a day. It sounds crazy to me as a new web developer. Love your content. As you become more and more proficient as a developer, what takes you now maybe 10 hours to do, you'll be able to do in 2 hours, and then 1 hour. That's pretty much it. More experienced developers, you have a workflow. And so that means basically you just optimize the way you put things out. You're going to have certain tools that you go to, fall back on tools, if you will, that allow you to just get the work out in record time. So when you first start freelancing, when I teach people, you're going to charge much less than what your ultimate rate is going to be. When I first started freelancing, I think I was making like 20 bucks the hour, 25 bucks the hour. That's like decades ago, right? But when I finally hung up my freelancing keyboard, I was billing out at 200 the hour. I just became so much more productive. I was able to do, it's hard to quantify exactly, but I was able to do nearly 10 times better work than I did by the tail end of my career because of experience and so forth than I was in the beginning. So as you become more productive, you're able to just get a lot more done. My code was better. My code was more efficient. My code was better structured and less bugs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was worth much more later on. So as you, Emmanuel, as you develop your skill sets as a developer, you'll see that you're going to become hyper productive, much more productive. And you'll look back a year, 2 years from now, and then 3 years, and then 4 years from now, and 5 years now. You're going to go, wow, my code was so bad then compared to now. So I'm just encouraging you. It's just going to increase, just going to get better with time, All right. Kotlin with Spring Boot is a must. Java is too verbose, laugh out loud. Andrew Morales states, I agree. It's like, I love Java. It sounds weird, I know, but I have this nostalgia about Java because I cut my teeth really as a pro developer with Java. That's where I went from competent to very competent using Java. And I built some really cool stuff with Java. So I have a fondness for it, as silly as that sounds, being fond of a programming language. But I do. But I would not use it today to build any new apps. It's too verbose. I agree 100%. The power of Java really is the virtual machine. And if you don't know, Java, it's a language, but it's also a piece of software called the virtual machine. And in there is all kinds of power, massive power. And you can access that power through the Java programming language or through the Kotlin language. The Kotlin language was developed by JetBrains. So anyway, long story short, I rather use the Kotlin language because it's like you get things done so much more quickly. Kotlin is to Java as Swift is to iOS and I think it's and the macOS development. So it's just much more efficient. Yes, I agree 100%, Andrew. Leandro, excuse me. What do you think of HTMX? Does it have a chance of overtaking React or other frameworks? It's too early to say. I looked at it very briefly. It looks very interesting. Right now, it's too early to say. And I don't have a hard opinion about the technology itself. I haven't used it, so I don't know. But I would proceed with caution with HTMX unless it's backwards compatible, meaning that if it becomes unsupported, you're not going to be stuck. Donald Trump, tremendous stakes. That's a funny name. I thought Uncle Steph would write his code down in his notebook. Donald Trump, tremendous stakes. That's pretty funny. Hey, Steph, what do you think about starting freelancing just with HTML, CSS, and WordPress? Yeah, for sure. Excited to get some real-world experience ASAP. I'm learning JavaScript, but I'm not quite there yet. Yeah, no, jump into it, man. That's cool. If you know HTML and CSS and you know WordPress, do it. You're getting a lot of WordPress gigs anyway. What I would do, if you're a little bit bored of JavaScript and you want a little change, I would learn a little PHP because WordPress is created with PHP. So by learning just a little bit of PHP, you will start to really understand WordPress better, especially the whole theming thing. So yeah, that sounds great. That's a great idea. A comment of the night thus far, get into building real things. That's the key to mastery. I used to tell people, you want to learn how to fight, you fight. I did martial arts for a decade, so. Hey, Anissa, how are you? Hope all is well. I hope everything is well with you. Thanks for coming to the stream again. Rodolfo Espinoza says, recent grad from bootcamp. Congratulations. Primarily focused on the MERN stack. Curious, what are your general thoughts on that stack as I am building out my first web app? If it works, it works. MERN is fine. MERN is fine. What's it called? LAMP is fine. Whatever you want to use. I generally believe that all the stacks are pretty good. They all have their weaknesses. They all have their strengths. And I would choose one stack over the other based on the specific needs of the job. So if you like MERN, you're productive with it, why not use it? So yeah, that's cool. Good stuff. Congratulations. A lot of people don't complete their boot camps, don't complete what they started. I used to always tell people, if you're halfway there, you're nowhere. You have to complete things. So even if you don't even let's say if something happens, man, you don't end up using your MERN stack a year from now, 2 years from now, it's still not a waste because you've learned so much learning the MERN stack. And you find when you jump over to some competing stack, you're like, hey, I've seen this before. And they do it a little bit different here. I may not like it as much, I may like it better, depending, you'll see. I've used several stacks over the years, and I remember it happened to me, I told this story before, the first time I was pushed out of the Java world was I went and saw a client, it was a freelance client, and they had developed some basic apps with primitive PHP. This is PHP 3, so it was really primitive stuff, and especially compared to Java. And I tried hard and very hard to convince them to build the new stuff in Java. And they refused. They said, listen, no, we're not going to have something in PHP, and then we're going to have something in Java, so it's going to be a nightmare. We have to get the PHP coders and Java coders. Said, you're going to do it. You want the job. You have to do it in PHP. That was key for them. And so it was good money, so I said, okay, I'll do it. And I was forced to learn PHP, which was terrible. But I discovered, even with old, primitive, crappy PHP, I saw its appeal in certain regards. I remember I was discussing this with my brother, who was a Java developer at the time as well. He still is. And I said, you know, this PHP is crap, but you can like send an email with one line of code, whereas in Java, it would take like a page of code. So, you know, the end product in terms of the PHP, it was like a fraction of the size code-wise that the Java version would have been. And I said, you know, PHP is crap at the time. PHP today, it has all the bells and whistles that you see in all the modern languages. But back in the day, I said, you know, it's crap at the time, but you know what? If you only have to debug 1,000 lines of code instead of 10,000 lines of code, that's a win. So yeah, that lesson way back in the day made me realize, even though another language or another technology may be deficient in other areas, there might be some value that it provides depending on the needs of the project. So yeah, that's it, man. Anissa says, hi, why is Java better than C#? Well, the Java people will give you all the reasons why Java is better than C#, and then all the C# people will give you all the reasons why C# is better than Java. I never got deep into C#, although I did write some stuff in C#. I generally prefer Java at the time, and I haven't looked at this in a long time, not because of the core language, but because of the infrastructure around Java. I felt that it was more consistent at the time and reliable than the Microsoft stack. But that was then. Now today, I don't know. I'm sure they're neck and neck. So I know that sometimes C# will implement new things in the core language, and then Java will have to respond. They're so mature now, and they're all very good. Alex, I've had a bad experience as a support dev where I had to support existing systems and had to manage updates to the system code, which has really turned me off on applying for intro dev jobs. Any suggestions? Yeah, well, when you are keeping an old system up to date and old code, that's like the worst type of coding, by the way. So what you might want to do is find a job working for a smaller organization that's developing a new app and doing new stuff. So you get to write fresh, clean code. So that is my suggestion in terms of the solution there. Yeah. So Shadow King 215 says, I'm here in Fort Lauderdale until the 24th. I love it. I love it here. Where are you from, man, originally? Florida winter is amazing in America. 100%. That's why I'm here. Yeah, by the way, if you guys are in Florida, I'm thinking of doing a meetup. Well, it's going to be past the 24th in South Florida. So put in comments below. I'm just mentioning every stream, and eventually I'll figure out a way to organize it, maybe in the post in the community tab, or maybe on the Discord server. That's where I'll put it. Yeah. By the way, if you enjoy the stream, please give me a thumbs up. If you hate my stream, don't give me just one thumbs down. Give me 2 thumbs down. Show me how bad I am. Hello, Uncle Steph. I'm thinking about buying a VR headset and a new laptop for a digital nomad setup. Any recommendations? Oh, well, in terms of laptops, always get an SSD-based laptop, solid-state drive. I don't even know if they sell the moving drives. Number 1, minimum 16 gig of RAM. If you want to get into VR, we'd probably up it to 32. And a good screen. Get a good monitor with a wide field of view. I'm just looking at my monitor here. Yeah, that's my suggestion in that regard. In terms of VR headsets, I have the Oculus 2. The Quest 3 is out. Apparently it's much more comfortable and looks better. My friend bought it. He says it's worth it. You got the Apple one coming out, but that's like $3,500, so it's a big price difference. So I would say Quest 3, unless you roll in cash and get an SSD-based laptop. I typically use Mac laptops now, although I use lots of Windows, I use Linux, I use Mac, I use iOS, I use Android. So I'm pretty open to operating systems, but I tend to like using Mac OS because it just gets out of it doesn't get in my face so often. So yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. James Butters says, Steph, I'm finishing my BS in CS. I have a company that wants to interview me for a software engineer job, but it's not an internship. It will slow down my progress from finishing my degree. Opinion, work experience is everything. As long as it doesn't stop you from finishing your degree, I would say go for it, man, especially if it's paid. Definitely. Get some real world experience, get paid. And I would take it if the job work environment looks cool and you're doing cool stuff. The number one thing to look for in the software career is experience. Get that experience. That's the hardest part about it when you're starting out, is getting that initial experience. Once you have that initial experience, everything is peaches and cream. Let me just put this up a little bit. There we go. Hi from El Salvador. Hello, Steph. What do you think about learning UX UI as a freelance developer? Is it crucial? Learn the basics. Yeah, you got to learn the basics. Just learn the basic rules. You know, in terms of UI, let me explain for people who might be new to this. So UI is user interface. It has to do with the aesthetics of the screens that you're building, how aesthetically pleasing it is, how it looks, right? And UX is user experience. It's how easy it is to use. So you can have an ugly looking site like a Google or Craigslist, not very aesthetic pleasing to look at, but very usable, you know, easy, understandable, usable. So that's the distinction between the two. But they overlap for obvious reasons, because the colors that you choose can not only, as an example, the colors that you choose will not only affect how visually appealing your interface is, whether it be a web app or a mobile, but also can affect how usable it is, because you can use color to direct people, except if they're colorblind, but that's another story. Anyway, so yeah, is it crucial? Just learn the basics. If you want to freelance, learn the full stack. Don't have to be a master developer, but just understand the back end, because it's inevitably you're going to do e-commerce stuff and implementations. Inevitably you're going to do WordPress. Inevitably you might do Drupal. So understanding at least how the back end works and how to work with databases on a basic level. And then you let the gigs pay you to learn anything more. It's just going to make your life easier. Donald, what's Donald have to say? What will it take for the job market to open up for entry-level developers? First year CSS student here, wondering if it's worth it. Thanks, Uncle Steph. Don't worry about this. We're on the edge of crap here in terms of the economy. There's always boom and bust cycles in development. So right now we hit a little bit of a downturn, but this all comes down to interest rates at the end of the day. So the Federal Reserve, if you don't know this in the US, they set the rate of interest rates. So they said recently that they're going to be dropping the interest rates in 2024. When interest rates go down, economies tend to juice up because money is cheap, meaning it's cheaper to borrow. If you're borrowing at 5%, it's a lot harder to start a business than if you're borrowing money at 1%, right? It's a lot cheaper. So that differential in the interest rates, meaning as interest rates are heading down, things will start to pick up again. So just don't worry, man. There'll be plenty of jobs for you. Just keep working at it. I know for sure. Alex says, I am wondering what you are actually working on on your free time, what stack do you use? Well, I am now a manager of projects. I don't code personally much these days. I do occasionally inspect, but my lead dev, he's good at what he does, so I don't really have to look at what he does anymore. My last project where I was heavily involved in things is the Studioweb Learning SaaS. You go to studioweb.com. It's a learning platform that I developed with my team, and it's used by all kinds of schools and private institutions around the world, but mostly in North America. And that's the last thing I really did a lot of engineering on. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I'm sort of much more involved in the business end of things now and the content creation. I really enjoy that. I'm in a fortunate enough position I can do that. But when you've done stuff for decades, you kind of know what's going on. Love you in Pittsburgh, Buzz Johnson. All right, thanks, man. Right back at you. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining the stream. Hey, guys, if you haven't given me a thumbs, appreciate it. You know how it is with the Google algorithms. Been to, I've never heard of this, Arequipa, Peru. I also visited Colca Canyon and saw the condors. Fascinating country. Very cool. I never heard of, I'm not saying it right, I'm sure, Arequipa, Peru. I've never been there. That's cool. Emmanuel says, thank you, sir. Steph, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the motivation to keep going through freelancing. Haha, much love from the Philippines. Hey, cool, man. Cheers. Way back in the day, I've done Filipino martial arts a little bit. Kali and Eskrima, the stick and knife fighting. I did that kind of stuff. Cool martial art, by the way. I don't know, a lot of Filipinos don't even know that it exists. It's cool stuff. I go, Steph, what do you think? Free CodeCamp courses and playlists. I haven't looked at it. I'm sure you can get something out of it. Of course, I have my own thing, Studioweb, and I like it better, but I'm biased. Hi, Steph. I think you mentioned Studioweb was originally built with CodeIgniter. That is true. And you moved to Laravel. That is also true. If true, why the change? What makes Laravel stand out from other frameworks? Well, at the time, the first version of Studioweb was on CodeIgniter because CodeIgniter at the time was the predominant framework for PHP. I looked at others, but I have a tendency to go with the dominant frameworks because I don't want to be stuck with some abandoned technology. So we use CodeIgniter. I think one of the guys who coded that thing, he liked CodeIgniter. So I think that was one of the reasons as well. So when I had to do the rewrite, at that point in time, CodeIgniter had basically disappeared off the map. I've heard of it since reemerged. So then I was looking at Node and Express. I was looking at Laravel. I was looking at Symfony. I even looked at Django. I looked at a little bit quickly at Ruby and Rails. I was looking at all those high-level frameworks and languages, and I went with Laravel because at the time it seemed to be the best framework out there, the best engineered one out there, as far as my concern, as far as I could tell. So that's why we went with it, and it worked out very well for us. Good question. The Champion. Do you think entry-level coding jobs will make a comeback? Sure. In the meantime, just follow the prescription as it describes in so many other videos and just improve your skill sets, Hey, Steph, how hard is it to go from an idea to a successful software product without a team, the entrepreneur route without a team, with a team? Well, when you have a team, it gets more difficult, ironically, because then you got to organize people. Organizing and managing developers is like herding drunken cats who are angry. So that's a problem there. So what I would suggest that you do, if you have a concept for a piece of software, I've done this a few times, build out the alpha version, the quick and dirty version on your own, so you have a proof of concept. And then get some users on it for free and start refining it on your own. And you build it quick and dirty because you're going to be changing so many things with the first version based on user input. Once you have something going and you feel it's starting to move and you need help in terms of development and so forth, then you start looking around for developers to help you out. Why? Because then you have power. It's harder for people to jump on your ship and argue how you built the ship and where the ship's going once it's actually going, right? It's got users, and you got feedback, and you got experience. But if you have a concept and you bring in a bunch of developers, then you're gonna have to deal with the drunken, mad, angry kittens. You know what I mean? Because you would, at that point in time, if you do it that way, you would not have proven your vision yet. Or you can just find people to agree with your vision from the onset. So this is how we're gonna do it. That's it, and now forget about it. DV Dragon, Steph, you can stay in Florida for as long as you like. Enjoy your stay. Just don't bring those Canadian geese with you. Terrible, rude animals. Yeah, the geese. They'll go for you. Excuse me. Buzz Johnson, everyone loves Florida in the winter. Wait till it's 110 and hurricanes coming soon. Yeah, well, yeah, in the summertime, it's pretty hot. Although I have some friends, they love it in the summer too. Daniel Campos says, I love your content. Greetings from Mexico. Hey, cool. My friend was just in Mexico City. He loves Mexico City. Built an SPA with MERN and just realized it has no real security. Any quick fix for this noob? Oh. What do you mean security in what regards? You got to give me some more details. What, in terms of authentication or? Well, make sure your database is encrypted, number one. That's a good thing to do. Yeah, so you have to give me a little bit more in terms of what do you mean, what security issues do you have? Love your content, watch from Mexico. Is Upwork any good to start out? I heard the pay is bad. When you're first starting out, don't be concerned about the pay. Just be concerned about getting some experience. That's the whole point. Don't worry about it. So if Upwork will get you some experience and you can start building your resume, just consider it part of your learning process. Bogdan Vida says, hey, I'm just in love with Nuxt and Vue. What is your opinion on Nuxt and is it worth learning it? I haven't looked at Nuxt. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't looked at it, so I don't have an opinion. Like Vue, though. Do you think taking help from AI when you are a learner as a PHP dev a good thing to save time? 100%. If you can save time, do it. Don't worry about it. Do it. Steph, have you ever rented out an apartment or house for income? Yes, I have. I had buildings in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. And we just sold them actually about 6 months ago. I have. Big headache. In my opinion, unless you have a minimum of 10 to 20 rooms to rent, or buildings to rent out, or doors to rent out, we'll say. I'll use your parlance. Unless you have 10 to 20 apartments to rent out where you can hire firms and so on, it's not a passive income. So you have to be prepared to deal with that. Toilets break, roofs break, you gotta get repairs, people don't pay the rent on time, blah, 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 blah. I won't do that again. I'm very happy with my Python course, Stefan M. Good, cool. I do curios on Phoenix Elixir and wondering what Uncle Steph thinks of it. Face purple, white eyes. I haven't looked at Phoenix Elixir. I would have to look at that. So I don't have an opinion for you. Don't have an opinion for you. David McKee says, I went to Google Bard and asked it to build a IPv4 calculator. It did not work in Python IDE. ChatGPT built the IPv4 calculator. It worked. Not sure why. Well, I've been playing around with the AI tools, and what I have found is that they are hit and miss. They are hit and miss. Whether it be code, whether it be image, video creation, you have to really, I don't know if it's a question of you have to be good with your prompts, your prompt skills. And prompt engineers, apparently that's a thing, you can make good money with that. I also think there's some cherry picking there. I think that these things are just inconsistent. Nira, I'm not saying that right, my apology. Hey Steph, I have 6 years experience and recently got laid off. I've been working through the Studioweb project. Any tips? How do I access your weekly meetings and mentoring? So are you part of the mentoring program? If you're part of the mentoring program, you would have 2 logins, one for the private forum, and that's in the private forums where you have the mentoring meetings. And yeah, if not, to access the mentoring program meetings, you join the mentoring program. Let me know, send me a private email or DM me. Steph, do you think as time goes on, the demand for programming for robotics will be in a higher demand than web dev? Oof. I don't think it's going to be higher demand than web dev, but it's going to be a high. I think demand for robotics will increase as robotics get better and better and better. That's for sure. That's for sure. Also, you're okay. So you are part of the program. Okay, so email me. I'll just say it. Stefan@studioweb.com. Just send me your ID for your the mentorship ID, and I'll set you all up with all that. Yeah, sorry that was not clear for you. Yeah. No. Steph, as a programmer, is it better to code your blog or to use a platform like WordPress? Unless you want to become a blog platform creator, I would just use WordPress personally. Subnet calculator, so she's part. All right, wow, I got all the questions. Pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, let me deal a little bit of controversy. I posted on the my community. I said, okay, people have been asking me. No worries, no worries. You know how to reach me now. Yeah. Also, when you do email, put it in the subject, put in all caps, mentoring group, your ID. So I see it because I get a sea of emails, right? So I'll see it and I go, whoop, and I'll make sure I get to your question quickly. Why isn't thumbs up increasing? Yeah, where's the thumbs up? God damn it. Yeah, so I have been a controversy because people have been asking me to consult with me forever. And so I said, okay, if you want to consult with me, I put a price. And from my perspective, it was a good price. And but a few people got pissed off at it. It was interesting. I think there are people who are just not in the business world yet, so they don't understand. So I put a price. I'll be transparent. I said, 15 minutes, $125, fine, and I'll answer your questions. And people were like shocked at that, right? But they don't understand. I said it was a form. In the consulting world, I pay my accountants much more. It's like, it was interesting. Yeah. God, it will do. Anyway, it's but that's why I do these live streams. If that's unaffordable, and I understand for a lot of people it's not affordable. I totally get that. I do live streams. I answer tons of questions, and I think I'm pretty thorough. Steph, what do you think of Webflow? I looked at it. It looks very powerful. It seems like a pretty flexible, low-code platform. It is. It's very platform. It's very cool. I would look at Webflow's cool. Wix Studio is very cool, very comprehensive as well. They got low code, and they got AI, and they got AI image generation, AI code completion. So these are 2 platforms you might want to check out. There's another one, I forget now. I mentioned it earlier in the stream. It's also cool. Yeah, it's part of the game. Look around, see what platforms are out there. In my career, I have written software, I think it's about 9 languages over the years. Not on one project, but over the years, Java here, C# here, PHP here, etc., and so on. They're just tools, man. Use whatever tools works, Hey, Teach, hope all's well. I'm good, man. Thanks for joining the stream. Cool, I'm good. Hey, Steph, an undergrad student in economy here. I watched a lot of your vids lately. You think it's possible to rotate to coding in a year or a year and a half and start making salary from it? Yeah, I think so. The key is you learn your basics and then you get into some real projects as quickly as possible. Little things. And start building up some real skills. Yes, it's very doable. I know I've known some people who've done it in 3 months. Usually people take longer than that, but I've seen people do it in 3 months. Do you know of an easy way for a third worlder to get a remote job in USA? Cheers. Yeah, get really good with English and communication skills. That's the key to that. Assuming you know how to code. Thanks for the reply. Next in Vue is like the next in React. It's like the next React. I think so. Yeah, I think yeah. So maybe you have some opinions about frameworks like React and Next and apps based on them. Are they future proof? That I couldn't say. I don't think React is going anywhere. It's when a technology like React, like Java, like Bootstrap, you know, and there's several others. When WordPress, Drupal, when they get so big, they're kind of locked in. You know what I mean? So I would have to look at those technologies specifically. I think Vue is here to stay. React is here to stay. We use Vue to a certain extent on the Studioweb platform. I like Vue. Hey Steph, is Wix Studio a robust enough platform to run an all-in-one web app development agency? I believe so. From when I did a review of it, I believe so. I think it's something worth looking into for sure. I know a little bit of the R language and SQL to work with data, but nothing else. Okay. Well, I forget the original question, Mark. I've been answering so many. Yeah, I would expand upon that. SQL is good. I think if you're in web development, learn SQL. I think it's a good thing, and basic database design. R is very specialized. If you want to go freelance, you have to go with the broader stuff, like the JavaScript and the Pythons and the PHPs. What tips would you give yourself if you had to start over again as a web designer developer? Well, I teach you them. You learn your fundamentals really well. Don't get caught up in a particular tech. Study the job market, the local job market that you're after. Pay attention to what people are doing, what the demand is, and then learn and jump into that accordingly. No worries. I hope I answered your question properly, Mark. Steph, I got my first professional project for freelancing. Congratulations. Cool stuff. Currently a sophomore in college. I built an e-commerce Squarespace website and got paid $800. Not sure what my next move should be. Put up a site that looks really good. So you have $800, pay for just basic hosting, put up a nice looking site. Say, hey, this is what I'm a developer. I'm professional now. I've done professional work. This is the work I did. Here it is. This is what I can do for you. And start reaching out to people. Fantastic. That first job, by the way, is the hardest nut to crack in terms of work. So congratulations on that. Good job, man. That's fantastic. And you got paid. You got paid to learn. Good stuff. So now you know what to do next. Keep us informed. I like to hear these good stories. Good stories. All right. There we go. It's almost an hour. I'm going to be wrapping this up. Any last minute questions? Put them in the comments there. And again, I have a Discord. You're free to join the Discord. Link below. Chat with a bunch of people. I have good moderators on there who take care of everything. Yeah. And I have a boot camp. Check it out, UncleSteph.com. I also have my solo courses. You learn everything you want to learn there. PHP, Python, JavaScript, web development, full stack, etc. Lizard Wizard, very important. Nothing to see. Steph, what do you think? How will be the job market for web developer in 24, and what do you think front end will have? What do you think front end will have scope or back end? I can't say what it's going to be exactly in 2024. If you are skilled, you find work. Just keep upping your skills, keep working. Especially if you're freelancing, I would learn a little back end, even if you're not a big fan of it, because it would make you a better front end developer, strangely enough. Do you still enjoy coding, or do you like your managerial role? Thanks for answering, by the way. That's an interesting question, Sumik. I still remember. I came to a point where my business at the time was growing, and I knew that I could not develop and build the business at the same time. So I had to make a choice. I remember that day, I still remember, I was sitting there, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have to make a choice whether I want to be a developer for my career or I want to do business. And I made the choice to do business. So what happened is I got more and more detached from day-to-day development over time. It was hard for me because I really enjoyed development. What is the best way to get users for your project? Seems like projects get lost amongst the endless sea of apps. Appreciate all your answers. You got to promote it, man. Promote it on social. Talk about it on social. Give people free access on, just push it and talk about it. Push it and talk about it. Social is probably the way to go. Build a website for it. Talk about it. You're just going to have to do good old-fashioned marketing. That's it. There's no other solution there. My friend is learning React and other JS libraries so that he can start his freelancing journey. But when I found out there are only WordPress players, it blew my mind. What do you mean by that? Meaning that all the jobs are WordPress? Yeah, because all the companies use WordPress. React is popular in the startup community. It's popular with bigger companies, but when you're doing freelance, you're not going to be dealing with these people. So freelance and React, oil and water, man. And I'm not crapping all over React. React is good for what it does, but it's just not for freelance. Thank you. This is a huge relief. Felt amazing for this project. You have been a huge help. Glad I could help, man. Cool. Stefan, do you think the job market for web design development will get oversaturated in the future? Not for a long time, but just pivot, just pivot. The key is to be a developer. Developers can pivot from one thing to the next. So again, I think for 2024, after you do your fundamentals, I would get into low code and no code platforms, learn what AI can do for you. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. You do very well in that situation. All right, guys, an hour in. Thanks for joining the stream. If you haven't given me a thumbs up, please do give me a thumbs up. Appreciate it. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post below the video. And also join the Discord channel. Link is below for sure. Okay, one last question, I'm out of here. So you would say freelancers are wasting their time learning JS frameworks? No. The more you learn, the more you earn. You're not wasting your time. But you may find that those skills are not often directly employed. But if you learn something, let's say you learn React, you're going to learn a lot of concepts and ideas in React that you probably will be able to apply at some point in your freelancing work. Would something like Svelte have any chance of making workflow faster? I haven't looked at that. So I would just evaluate it for yourself. Take an hour, try it out, see if it does things for you that you think can help. All right, guys, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. And if we don't, I should get on before Christmas, but if I don't, Merry Christmas if that's applicable to you. Happy New Year if it's applicable to you. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And that's about it, I guess. Huh? Cheers, guys. I'll leave you with some of my ASMR, my boat scene from Cape Elizabeth, Maine. I filmed this a few years back.